The public-facing internet is anchored by the IPv4 address space, a digital expanse containing roughly 4.2 billion routing addresses. Mapping the devices attached to those addresses introduces a severe mathematical bottleneck. An active scanner must check all 4.2 billion IPs, multiplied by 65,535 possible ports for every single address. Early network discovery bypassed this math by relying on scheduled, static tools. They blanketed the IPv4 space, checking for a single protocol on a single, predictable port. Modern infrastructure renders those static assumptions obsolete. Hybrid cloud environments spin up and tear down dynamic attack surfaces in minutes. At the same time, autonomous systems and IoT devices often host services on high, non-standard ports to evade baseline scanning. Maintaining an accurate, near-real-time map of this global surface requires abandoning static scans in favor of a continuous, predictive engine. Without predicted intelligence and protocol-agnostic targeting, the vast majority of modern infrastructure remains invisible as dark space. Modern internet scanning relies on a two-layer architecture, beginning with a foundational data gathering tier. The baseline layer executes a rapid, continuous global scan of 100 highly popular IANA-assigned ports. It simultaneously maintains a continuous, optimized scan of known IP blocks from major cloud hosting providers like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. This diagram maps how the system solves the 65,535 port bottleneck. The baseline layer feeds data upward into a central predictive engine node. The engine ingests historical records and continuous discovery feeds, treating that data as algorithmic seeds. By calculating the most probable active IP and port combinations, the engine fires targeted probes into the remaining high-port IPv4 space. This targeted approach uncovers over 107 million hidden services that standard scans miss. That yield accounts for over 40% of all discovered services on the internet today. Predictive scanning turns an impossible brute force math problem into a mathematically efficient mapping operation. Locating an open port only solves half the problem. The scanner still needs to accurately identify the software running on it. Threat actors and complex network operators frequently mislabel services. They host unexpected protocols on standard ports to evade basic network discovery tools. The engine bypasses this evasion by utilizing automatic protocol detection to analyze server responses directly at layer 7. This sequence diagram maps a standard interaction between the scanner on the left and an unknown target IP on the right, connected over port 80. The process begins when the scanner probes the target IP using a generic HTTP request. Instead of a standard web server response, the target replies with an SSH 2.0-open SSH banner. The scanner immediately drops the HTTP connection and dynamically pivots, reattempting the handshake using an SSH module to verify the service. The engine executes this dynamic analysis across over 200 distinct Layer 7 protocols, even identifying HTTP traffic running over quick. When a service refuses to adhere to any recognized protocol standard, the system flags it with an unknown fallback, marking it for further analysis. Port numbers are no longer reliable indicators of identity. Protocol-agnostic response analysis is a mandatory requirement for accurate network visibility. Infrastructure discovery is only the first step. To maintain the accuracy of the map, the system must account for rapid data decay. The engine actively monitors a total ecosystem of over 3 billion distinct services. To manage this volume, the system enforces a strict 24-hour refresh rule. Every day, any unnamed service with an observation timestamp older than 24 hours is automatically queued for a rescan. This aggressive cadence ensures the average age of high-value service data remains at approximately 16 hours. Gathering this data requires strict operational boundaries. The process is entirely restricted to reconnaissance. While the scanners complete handshakes and collect banners, like Start TLS for mail or unauthenticated MQTT broadcasts, they never attempt to authenticate, bypass firewalls, or read databases. This framework enables global visibility while maintaining a strictly non-intrusive operational boundary. The final outputs of this architecture are the Universal Internet Dataset and a repository containing over 6 billion unique X509 certificates. Identifying the specific software versions and services running on billions of devices allows researchers to cross-reference known vulnerabilities against the entire Internet, creating a significant dual-use risk. Access to the raw data sets through Google BigQuery is provided freely, but strictly gated to verified academic researchers conducting publicly impactful work. repackaging the data for private threat intelligence, commercial bug bounties, or defending a single organization automatically disqualifies the user. The immense power of the global map is deliberately constrained by rigorous access policies to prevent its weaponization. The ultimate ethical test for managing this dataset occurs during active zero-day exploitation events. The rapid response team faces a direct dilemma. They must provide defenders with actionable data without irresponsibly directing attackers toward vulnerable hosts. To resolve this, they employ a strict decision matrix. This scatter plot maps out that matrix. The y-axis tracks the criticality of the affected asset, scaling up to industrial control infrastructure, while the x-axis maps the device count and scale of exploitation. Vulnerabilities that impact highly critical infrastructure or affect a very small number of devices, around 100, are placed in a restricted zone. Sharing the query would paint a target directly on those hosts, so the exact query is withheld or abstracted. For massive scale exposures affecting hundreds of thousands of hosts, precise queries are released to the public to accelerate global remediation. A unique exception exists for post-breach ransomware incidents. Because the systems are already compromised, queries identifying those hosts are shared freely to help researchers analyze attack patterns. Securing the modern internet requires two distinct systems: a predictive engine to maintain the map, and an ethical framework to govern how that intelligence is distributed.